Ooh, that's a bingo.
Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo.
You just say bingo. Bingo! How fun!
How fun indeed it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Short Story Bingo. My name is Nate Chacon III. If this is your first time, welcome. If it's not, the retention program is working. What I do on this podcast is I'm a glorified narrator. The stories that you have heard and some that you have not. It's like Libro.fm, sorta. What we are going to be reading today is the third part of the Meyer, Lansky, Lucky Luciano series. And from the book by Carl Sifakis, Mafia, Encyclopedia. And we're going to be touching on two big points that we've been referencing through the last two, which is one, the 5 Points Gang, which is a pre-Prohibition gang that both Lucky and Meyer were part of, and then the Normandie SS and it going down. So very excited to wrap this up and learn a little bit more about both of these with you. So thank you guys again for your support and listening. Please visit the YouTube and subscribe there as well. Hit the bell for your notifications when new videos drop every Friday. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Extraterrestrial Media. Visit extratmedia.com if you need to film a music video, record an audio single, or get a drone shot of your business or home, need consultation for a project, and much, much more. Visit extratmedia.com. They have a range of services to help any of your media needs. We're also partnered with Libro.fm. When you make the switch, enter Story Bingo at checkout for your new membership to receive 2 audiobooks credits instead of 1. Libro.fm makes it possible for you to buy audiobooks through your local bookstore, giving you the power to keep money within your local economy, create local jobs, and make a difference in your community. Here at Short Story Bingo, we're partnered through Libro.fm to the King's English Bookshop. Visit kingsenglish.com. If you're in the Valley, they are located at 1511 South, 1500 East here in Salt Lake City. Short Story Bingo is also partnered with Jazzercise. Brandon Harris and his team have created an innovative product that works over 40 muscles in your face. It fucking works. It's awesome. Please use this code Story Bingo to get 60% off of your order. 60% off of your entire order. I don't know if I said that loud enough. 60% off your order. Visit jazzercise.com, JAWZRSIZE, and go to you can check out the Total Transformation Pack to see what your results are from there. It's a clear guide on how to utilize it, and there's custom mouthpieces, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Jazzercise.com, enter code Story Bingo. All right, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe both again on Twatter, is what I was going to say, on Twitter and Instagram, at Short Story Bingo and at Gabino Grimes, and of course on the YouTube. We've upped our subscribers up there by 5, so that's good. But in full transparency, the more the better, so that we can keep this thing flowing for you. All right, let's go ahead and mention our top 3 countries beyond the United States. Yo, what up to the Netherlands, Canada, and the United Kingdom. And then the top 3 states is Florida, Idaho, and Texas. That has been the top 3 for a while now. They've been holding the reign on that. So yeah, big ups to them. Now, our random Twitter follower shout out. I hope you guys are well, man. This is going to be a fun one. I'm really excited to learn about the 5 Points Gang and everything. All right, let's see, because I never have this second up. Salty Block Boy, MOE, man. I'll post them there, but congrats on the little random Twitter follower shout out. Yeah, episode 61. I can't believe we're here. We've done it. 61. 5 Points Gang, Normandie SS, Short Story Bingo. Thank you. Peace, you know?
Short Story Bingo. Short Story Bingo. Short Story Bingo. Short Story Bingo. Sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're sad. Most of the time they're funny because I hate to be sad. Short Story Bingo. Short Story Bingo. Short Story Bingo. Short Story Bingo. But don't take my word for it. Spare fingers.
All right, here we go. Okay, 5 points, gang. Let's do this. If you guys have enjoyed what you have already listened to, please make sure to hit the like button or comment on like Apple Music and stuff, man. I've seen the previous ratings, so we certainly appreciate that. But all the more, the merrier, you know? Let's keep this community going. I certainly enjoy it. I know George enjoys it. And we see big things in the future happening for y'all. All right, part 3 of Meyer, Lansky, and Lucky Luciano and their contributions to the modern day mafia. All right, 5 points, gang. Probably more modern day gang leaders came out of the turn of the century 5 points gang and its allied organizations than from any other outfit in America. The 5 Pointers were the last great pre-prohibition gang in New York, composed of an army of about 1,500 eye-gouging terrorists, virtually all Italian. Super cool to fucking say terrorists in there. They represented the transition between the 19th century cutthroat Irish street gangs, such as the Dead Rabbits, new name please, the Plug Uglies, another new name, and the Yos. All new names. All those need new names, you know? Let's read that one more time. They represented the transition between the 19th century cutthroat Irish street gangs, such as the Dead Rabbits, the Plug Uglies, and the Yos. And Yos is WHYOS. And the outfits of the 1920s, which formed the nucleus of what became organized crime in America. The only chieftain in the 5 Points gang the only chieftain the 5 Points gang ever had was an ex-bantamweight prize fighter of some skill named Paolo Antonini Vaccarelli, but better known as Paul Kelly. They fucking took his whole shit out. Yeah, what's your name, man? Paolo Antonini Vaccarelli. Yeah. Paul Kelly. Is anyone else good with that? We're good with that? Yeah, Paul Kelly is what we're gonna... Paul Kelly versus Ian fucking Brooker. And should have been Booker, but I don't know. His dad's here, so we're gonna call him Brook. Or Paul Kelly. That's fucking good, you know? I wonder what that process was at Ellis Island. And I would love to look into it, actually, now that I'm talking about it. But when they came and like they were giving names, and I know that folks like just changed their names. I don't know if they just changed their names or they were told to change their names, or if they were like asked, you know? If anyone knows that, comment in below. I'd love to get the link for that. I'm a fiend for like a good YouTube rabbit hole to go down. All right. In the pre-World War I era of union organizing and union busting, Kelly leased out his troops to businessmen as strike breakers, to other mobs as hitmen for hire, and to politicians to control voting. Super fucked up. Kelly was an efficient organizer, use it for something better, and members of youth gangs that flocked to him for recognition hoped for nothing more than eventually to gain admission to the 5 Pointers proper. One of Kelly's most ardent admirers was Johnny Torrio, then a young man in his early 20s who ran a youth gang called the James Street Gang under Kelly's tutelage. Thus, through Torrio, Kelly became in future years the sponsor and spiritual godfather of such very young gangsters as Al Capone, Lucky Luciano, and Frankie Yale. While the 5 Pointers were virtually all Italian and fought many a battle with Monk Eastman and his equally large and powerful collection of Jewish gangsters, Kelly recruited some other ethnics. Among them were the likes of the Jewish Kid Dropper, who was, before his murder in 1923, the biggest labor slugger extortionist in the post-war era. Kelly was probably the first to indicate to Torrio, and certainly to Luciano, that Italians could cooperate with gangsters of other nationalities in the quest for money. It was a lesson that Luciano never forgot. And we mentioned that in the Lucky Luciano episode, part 1 of this series, that he made a concerted effort to reach out to other ethnicities to make money. Was something that they were very steadfast on doing, was to build connections with whoever wanted to build connections that wanted to keep growing what they were already doing, and were over the old Sicilian mafia mindset of, like, it's only Sicilians and this is the way that it goes. So yeah, for this to say that it was a lesson that Luciano never forgot. We touched on that. Kelly maintained his headquarters in the New Brighton Dance Hall on Great Jones Street. He owned the place, which was one of Manhattan's flesh pots and a magnet for slumming socialites eager to rub shoulders with a real live gang leader like Kelly. Makes it sound so fun, Kelly could play the role because he was dapper and urbane, with a certain amount of self-education and a touch of cultural tastes. For many, he became society's naughty darling. I always liked this is the bad boy, that bad boy image. Yeah, that's what he was. That's what he was going for. I haven't ever heard it called as, God, he's such a naughty darling. Like he's naughty, but he's fucking sweet. He'll break your legs, but he'll bring you roses too. You know what I'm saying? However, it was criminality that kept Kelly and the Five Pointers gang going. Okay. By 1915, the gang was rapidly deteriorating. First time reading that word. With reform movements, labor slugging faded as an activity. What's labor slugging? What is, like, I mean, I get it, the word, but let's look up what labor slugging is. Oh, okay. So the labor slugger wars. Okay, I found it. I just like that beat now. Dun, dun. All right, okay. The labor slugger wars was a 15-year period of gang wars among New York City labor sluggers for control of labor racketeering from 1911 to 1927. So yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm still just trying to end racist slugging match. Okay, now I'm going down a rabbit hole on fucking Google. All right. So anyway, labor slugging was reaching its deterioration. All right. By 1915, the gang was rapidly deteriorating. With reform movements, labor slugging faded as an activity, and late that year, Kelly found a permanent little niche for himself in a little labor fiefdom, organizing the Garbage Scow Trimmers Union, the rag pickers on the dumps at the East River, and several other small but later influential harbor unions. Kelly left his bailiwick on the Lower East Side and moved into a house on 352 East 16th Street, owned by his gangland friends, the Morello family, and Ciro Terranova. All that remained of the Five Pointers were their heritage and their successful graduates, Torrio, Capone, Luciano, Yale, and others, who went on to raise the heights of criminal power during the Prohibition era. Okay, well, I thought that was it's good info, for sure. The fact that Lucky Luciano came out of that stock. If I remember correctly, Lucky was obviously it explains that he was a graduate of the Five Pointers gang, but when, like, he didn't want to, let's see, by the Italians could cooperate with gangsters of other nationalities. What did he say right here? Among them were the likes of the Jewish kid dropper, the biggest labor slugger extortion in the post-war era. Kelly was probably the first to indicate to Torrio and certainly to Luciano that. Okay, so the Five Pointers gang, the 5 Points gang, essentially helped Luciano catapult himself to his stature that he made. And one of the biggest things, they would not have mentioned it if it wasn't that, and it would not have been mentioned in the other episode, that Luciano focused on just making money and that whole thing that we were talking about. So that's cool. Okay. All right. Well, that's a little bit about the 5 Points gang. Actually, you know what? Just because we're here, let's do this really quick. I just want to see something as we're looking at this.
Holy Jesus.
I just saw something crazy.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Let's see. Ooh, there's a fucking Mafia Wikipedia. Okay, I mean, there's not like a lot more into it. They do just mention that Paul Kelly was he founded it. So Paul Kelly, or as we just spoke about, Paolo Antonio Vaccarelli, excuse me, god damn, was an Italian American who founded the 5 Points Gang, one of the dominant street gangs in the first 2 decades of the 20th century. Yeah, and he recruited youth. So like, yeah, Lucky Luciano was a fucking was a teenager at the time. Yep. Gambling dens and brothels were numerous in the 5 Points area. So the area of Manhattan, this is what 5 Points is. The area of Manhattan were 4 streets, Anthony, Cross, Orange, and Littlewater, converged was known as the 5 Points. Mulberry, notorious for slum tenements, was 1 street down from the 5 Points. This area, now the present-day location of Chinatown, lay between Broadway and the Bowery. By the 1820s, this district had been a center of settlement for poor immigrants and was considered a slum area of run-down wood frame and brick dwellings, warehouses, and commercial enterprises, dating from the late 18th century colonial era and early 19th century, populated by mostly poor English and Scots-Irish, with increasing torrents of waves of Irish refugees by the 1840s. Is the 5 Points Gang? What's that movie called? Gangs in New York. With Daniel Day-Lewis. Is that what that is about? Okay, I forgot that Martin Scorsese directed that. It was inspired by Herbert Asbury's 1927 nonfiction book, The Gangs in New York. Damn. Definitely want to fucking get that. Add that to the bucket list. It's just called Gangs in New York? That's the name of the book, dude? Good. All right. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Okay. There are some gruesome... okay. Yeah, 150 years ago, an area in Lower Manhattan called the 5 Points played host to the gladiatorial clashes between U.S.-born native and immigrant Irish gangs. You guys remember at the beginning of that movie when they're all like converge on the like one area? That's what I think of when I hear of the 5 Points. So that's like why I was like, oh shit, isn't that fucking... And wasn't there one of the groups called like the Dead Rabbits or some shit and the Gangs in New York? I gotta rewatch the movie. Anyway, okay, that's a little bit about the Gangs in New York, or the 5 Points Gang. All right, let's fucking move on. Let's look up the Normandy part. There's so much in this book, dude. I love this book so much. All right, found it. Okay, we found it. Got it now. Oh my god, this book is floppy as shit too, you know. Thanks you guys for listening. I'm not sure how much this is going to say about it, but it looks like it's a lot more than the other part. Okay, so this section is called Normandie SS. And before, just really quick, if you remember in both of the episodes, they speak about what Lucky Luciano's said posthumously. Well, no, it was discovered posthumously that Lucky Luciano had something to do with the sabotage of the Normandie SS. So that's what we're going to read about. On February 11th, 1942, not long after the United States entered World War II, the night skies over New York's Hudson River piers turned crimson in a spectacular fire. Ablaze was the former French liner Normandie, renamed the Lafayette, which was being converted to a troop carrier. It would have made a most efficient troop ship, since its high speed would have made it an extremely difficult target for German Wolfpack submarines, then decimating the Atlantic shipping. The fire gutted the Normandie. Flames burned fiercely all over the ship, and it was clearly arson. Officially, the government interfered. It was not sure what had happened. It might have been Nazi sabotage, or it might simply have been due to worker carelessness. At U.S. Navy headquarters in Washington, carelessness was not taken seriously. That possibility had been raised simply to prevent civilian panic. But what had happened to the Normandie? I wish I had a fucking... wrong sound for that. But what had happened to the Normandie? The truth was not revealed for almost 3 decades, until the posthumous memoirs of Lucky Luciano explained that the ship had been sabotaged by the Mafia. That explanation was later confirmed by the usually tight-lipped Meyer Lansky, who, still later, revealed the same basic facts to his Israeli biographers. It was the Mafia that struck the match to the Normandie. The purpose was to light a fire under the military authorities so that they could be panicked into enlisting the imprisoned Lucky Luciano into efforts to stop sabotage on the docks. So it was a coup. Even before the Normandie Fire, naval intelligence was convinced that German or Italian-speaking dock workers were signaling information to offshore enemy subs. Whoops. A phone call came in. All right. It was the Mafia. The purpose was to light a fire under the military authorities so that they could be panicked into enlisting the imprisoned Lucky Luciano into efforts to stop sabotage on the docks. Even before the Normandie Fire, naval intelligence was convinced that German or Italian-speaking dock workers were signaling information to offshore enemy subs. It was clear to these intelligence operatives that they did not have the power to prevent this, and neither did the New York police. The only force capable of doing so was the underworld. The first man to see the opening this gave the Mafia was... That was a typo on the book's part. So that's not... The first man to see the opening gave the Mafia... What? The first man to see the opening for the Mafia was Albert Anastasia. I'm changing it. A longtime Luciano loyalist. Okay. And we've heard Albert's name in the past episode as well. So Albert conferred with his brother, Tough Tony Anastasia, who then took a plan to Frank Costello, acting head of Luciano's crime family. Costello journeyed to Dannemora prison to present the idea of burning the Normandie to Luciano, who saw it would give him tremendous leverage with the government. Officials would have to deal with him to keep the docks safe. Okay? Look, we'll set this fucking thing ablaze, and I mean, they'll know what happened, that it was sabotaged. They already have other people, or different things that they're looking at, as they wouldn't even suspect that it was us. Could suspect it was us because we're lighting other shit on fire, but they're not going to suspect it's us here. With a nod from Luciano, the Normandie burned. Later, Luciano would gloat, "That goddamn Anastasia, he really done a job." Later on, Albert told me not to feel too bad about what happened to the ship. He said that as a sergeant in the army, he hated the fucking Navy anyway. The Normandie's fate galvanized official Washington to action. Almost instantly, an emergency plan called Operation Underworld came into being, calling for utilizing the Mafia to help the war effort. The Navy approached Joseph Sox Lanza, the racket boss of the Fulton Fish Market, with the idea. Lanza explained he was a small fish in the matter, and passed the Navy on to Costello and Meyer Lansky. They let it be known that only Luciano could give the okay. The mob had won their war. Officials fell all over themselves trying to please Charles Lucky Luciano. Costello said he was unhappy being in Dannemora, the Siberia of the New York penal system, and maybe he should be transferred to Sing Sing. Officials went one better and moved him to Great Meadow Prison, the most pleasant institution in the system. Luciano passed the word that the mob had to do all possible on the docks to aid the war effort. Lansky personally lectured Anastasia, telling him that he and his brother mustn't burn any more ships. He was sorry, Lansky recalled. Not sorry he had the Normandy burned, but sorry he couldn't get at the Navy again. Fucking guy. From Great Meadow, Luciano issued many orders, so he was in prison, ostensibly concerning the war effort. But in conversations with Costello and Lansky, he spent most of his time exerting active control once more over the National Crime Syndicate. And after the war, of course, Governor Thomas E. Dewey, full circle here, who had put Luciano in prison for 30 to 50 years on a charge of compulsory prostitution, agreed to his release because of his patriotic services to the government. Well, that wraps up part 3, man. What did we learn? I didn't mean to do quotations on the patriotic. I mean, he helped, you know? It's just like, he did I don't know how much of a favor he was doing, but, I mean, clearly, and the reason why I say that is because clearly he had ulterior motives. So it wasn't like, you know, it was a completely like, altruistic, maneuver on his part. All good though. I mean, he was released. Thomas Dewey, again, they thought they got him. Fucking 30 to 50 years, and then come to find out, he's like, you guys did this? Fuck. Yeah, bring him into my fucking office. Yeah, bring him in. Yeah, take a seat, Luck. Go ahead. I want him to call him Luck. Take a seat, Luck. Yeah, I do. How you doing? Heard about the Normandie, heard about, and this is hard for me, heard about the guys that are doing it, and we're thankful for it. Oh, no problem, yeah, no problem. We'll keep doing it too. We'll keep looking after the dogs for you too after I get out of here, because I know that a lot of things going on with the Polish Germans. I know that's going on, so no problem. You don't gotta keep whispering, Luck. Yeah, you got it, man. You're gonna get out, and everything's gonna be fine. Yeah, Brick, can you take him on, please? I don't know, man. I think what I learned through the 3 parts of learning more about Meyer Lansky and Lucky Luciano is that in order to make any sort of organization, whether it be crime or legitimate, is to have a large network and not to pigeonhole yourself. That's something that I caught a lot from that, and that I also was surprised that Lucky Luciano didn't want to be in power like he didn't care to be the figurehead like that. He just wanted to make money too, and just like, because I don't think it's like that shit when people are mentioned like on camera or like on film, like, don't fucking say my name, bro. Don't say my shit, you know? Don't tell people that you're hanging out with me like that or whatever. There's a lot of people that don't care to have that because they know, you know, that either A, they're doing some wild stuff on the back end, or, you know, B, they just don't care for that recognition. Not everyone likes the spotlight. I mean, you know, guys like John Gotti loved the spotlight, but Meyer Lansky didn't care for it like that, and so did Lucky Luciano. So didn't Lucky Luciano. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was super fun, man. I want to do that again a little bit more often, to do series. But we're coming into, and so with that said, thank you guys for listening and your support on, rocking with us for this 3-part series on the mob and Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky and their contributions to the modern day mafia. Go cop this, yo. The link, it's like, I don't know. It's like full of shit, dude. Like organized crime. This is its encyclopedia. Like Carl Sifakis did a great job, like to just like flip through and to, it's one of those things that I consider like as a book collector myself, like one of just those essential things to have. Like I have a awesome, book from, it's called, the Hip Hop Bible. And obviously, but it's by KRS-One, but it's dope to like pull out every now and again and like just read a page, like, or a couple pages or something, like just like fucking there. And then boom, Murder Incorporated, enforcement arm of National Syndicate, movie racketeering. Fucking the mobs moved in on Hollywood movie makers during the reign of Al Capone when the industry was still silent. Yo, see, like that's super dope. Like that's all good to me. But again, want to thank you to our sponsors, obviously Extra T Media. Yo, man, check it out. Go cop their merch. I'm going to wear my shirt next week, when we, go again, but I really appreciate George and everything that he's doing. Give him a follow at George Life, and also at Extra T Media. Go to Libro.fm. Make the switch from Audible, or just use our code StoryBingo. You get 2 audiobooks at the beginning of your subscription rather than just one. The move is lateral, but it's also helping the community that you're in. And then also go to jawsersize.com. We just went through our, the Black Friday sale. There's going to be Cyber Monday. This is a Cyber Monday code essentially all the time. 60% off, bro. 60% off. I promise you. Just go, just get the little pack even. And I mean, it's like normally like $60. You get 60% off. It's like $23 or something like that. Story Bingo. I highly, highly recommend utilizing that service, man. When you're working out, just throw that mouthpiece in. And you can feel like that rush of energy. I mean, I was gonna say like blood flow, but it is that because you're like working your face and shit. So yeah, I'm just very, very, very thankful that we're able to offer that to our listeners. So episode 61, Short Story Bingo. My name is Nate Chacon III. Thank you guys for riding with us, and I think that's about all I got. shortstorybingo@gmail.com. I received an email last week about about the Lucky Luciano art. I've been doing the episode art for the YouTube thumbnails. If you guys have any questions about, I answered this guy's question. I helped him out. I go to canva.com. Super easy service to use. I paid for the premium subscription. It's something that I've been using. I have no problem. I mean, it's out, so fucking use it. It's a service that I went to, but yeah. I am really, really happy about where this is going. So part 3 is all wrapped up. We just read about the Normandie SS and it burning down in 1942. And then, of course, the 5 Points Gang, its origins, Paul Kelly and Lucky Luciano being a graduate of it. So episode 61, more Short Story Bingo. Nate Chacon III. Peace.
Dun dun dun. Spare fingers. Yes.